The Bengals beat the Bills on Sunday night, tying the win-loss record between the two at 17 apiece. 17 wins for the Bills, 17 wins for the Bengals, and that's actually pretty wild that it's all tied up like that. The Bengals have had more playoff success, though, with beating the Bills 3 times in the playoffs. For some reason, the Bills can't get through the Bengals in the playoffs. They usually just beat them in the regular season, though. I guess not last Sunday. The Bengals got the win there, obviously. Bills really dropped the ball on that one. With Josh Allen throwing that interception and just that defense not doing all that great. Well, to be fair, Joe Burrow did play really well. Look at that. That stat line, 2 touchdowns, no picks for Joe. Almost 400 yards. I wish he would have eclipsed that. But good stat line nonetheless. He did outperform Josh Allen last Sunday. For sure. Like on that first drive for the Bengals starting out, they looked really good. They had a quick screen pass to Joe Mixon. He had another nice play after that. He picked up probably 20 yards total on the 2 plays combined. 14 of them were on that screen pass. T. Higgins also had a nice play on that first drive. And then Irv Smith Jr. down here at the bottom, he had a couple of nice plays too. One of them was that wide open touchdown that he had in the corner of the end zone. Straight wide open, great catch, great touchdown for Irv Smith Jr. right there. Former Viking. Cool to see him on the Bengals. After that first drive and then another catch later on, he didn't really do much. As you can see, 3 catches for 26 yards. But hey, that touchdown was still cool. So, hell yeah, Irv Smith Jr. Drew Sample also played pretty well out there. He also caught himself a touchdown. But his came in the second quarter, actually. It was a quick dump off at about the 25-yard line, and then he took it all the way to the house. He actually hopped over a guy to get there, too. It was a nice touchdown play by Drew Sample there. Both of the tight ends put in work for the Bengals today, getting themselves a touchdown apiece. That's pretty good. That's all you could ask for a tight end, I'd say. Do work in the red zone. Well, I guess and block, but I mean, you also want them guys getting touchdowns, and they got them. So hell yeah. The Bengals' actual second touchdown was when they're in a third and goal situation. They just gave it to Joe Mixon, and he just walked pretty much right into the end zone. No effort needed. That line did their job, and he just walked right in. Before that play, though, the Bengals could have had a nice touchdown pass to Jamar Chase, but it was dropped. He couldn't get full control of the ball, and just it was dropped. Jamar Chase really didn't do all that much out there today. 4 catches for 41 yards. It was the T. Higgins show out there. He had 8 for 110. That's really good. He outperformed my expectations. Like, he's really good, but I would have thought Jamar would have had like the better game. But no, it's really cool to see T. Higgins out there dominating. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are both like a crazy 1-2 punch at receiver. And then Tyler Boyd as well, of course, getting 3 catches for 56 yards. He's pretty good. And then Tanner Hudson out of nowhere getting a pretty good amount of yards himself. I pretty much say out of nowhere because he only had 18 yards in the last game and then 30 before that. I guess that 30 is good, but that was only on 2 catches. This time he had 4, so that's pretty good to see Tanner getting involved. Hell yeah, Tanner, let's go. Well, if he keeps getting involved, that'd be pretty good. They need all the playmakers on offense that they could get. You could never have enough playmakers for the offense. Like T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, that's an amazing receiving core. But you throw in Irv Smith, Drew Sample as the tight ends, and then Tanner Hudson, that's crazy. And then Joe Mixon can catch a few passes for you. Hell yeah, he's been there for a while. He's a long time Bengal, that guy now. A good reason why all those pass catchers are able to have such a good day, though, is because of this guy right here, Joe Burrow. I don't think I've talked about him enough. This guy is freaking crazy. He's really overcame the first few games, bounced back from his calf injury. Because, like, that first half and then, like, into a little bit of the second half, he was, like, 12 for 15 with a bunch of yards. He was feasting. And then again, with him not throwing an interception against this good Buffalo defense, that's really good to see. Joe Burrow is officially back. Well, I mean, he's always been good, but you know, I guess the Bengals are officially back. Joe Burrow's stats could have possibly been a little bit better if a few of their nice plays didn't get wiped off by bad penalties by Alex Kappa and a couple of the other guys. Like, Alex Kappa for the Bengals had a couple of bad ones for sure. Like, one was on 3rd and 3, where he false started, putting him in a 3rd and 8 situation. And then on that 3rd and 8, they got down to back to 4th and 2. So if they're originally on that 3rd and 3, they would have got the first down. But no, since they got that false start, getting 3rd and long, now you're at 4th and 2. And Joe Burrow wanted to go for it. I think everybody wanted to go for it. The analytics were saying go for it. The announcers, I'm sure, wanted them to go for it. But the only people who did not want to go for it were the people that mattered, the head coaches. They decided to punt it away, be safe, I guess, even though everything pointed to them for them to go for it. Tongue twister, but they should have just went for it. They should have just went for it. I don't care if it was a safe thing to do. I don't care that they won in the end. They still should have went for it, 4th and 2 right there, especially if Joe Burrow wanted to go for it. I guess it really didn't matter that they didn't go for it. Also, especially because after that punt, a little bit after Josh Allen threw his bad interception, trying to force it into Gabe Davis, that's when Cam Taylor Britt down here got his interception, pretty much sealing the game. Cam Taylor Britt was having a good game out there. He's getting his name called, getting that game-ending interception pretty much. That is pretty good. Not really, I guess, game ending, but momentum swaying, game swaying, and all that. And all that pretty much happened because Alex Kappa false started. If he didn't do that, they would have had a first down, and that would have been a whole different turn of events. There was one point in the game where there was like 5 penalties in a row. It was crazy. The Bengals are getting flagged, the Bills are getting flagged, and then like the Bengals are just getting pushed back and back. It was like I've never seen so many flags in a row in my life. Like the announcer was saying, "All right, so the last penalty," and then the penalty flag got thrown on the field. So like as he was talking about the last penalty and said penalty, the new penalty flag got thrown on the field. So he immediately has to talk about the new penalty. And it was like a new penalty each 5 seconds. It was crazy. It was a wild, a minute because of how little time passed there. The penalties have been wild this season. Not as much as, there hasn't been as much as there wasn't as much in this game as there's been in other games this season, like the Broncos and the Bears. But there's still quite a few, especially bad ones. The refs just suck, though. We all know that. The Bengals did end up going for it on 4th down later on, though. They were just in a 4th-and-1 situation, and then they had a quick pass to Jamar Chase for the easy pickup. Nothing special. But that easy play was almost not possible because the play before that, Joe Burrow tried to throw it into double coverage, pretty much just forcing it into Jamar's hands. And the two defenders ran into each other. And if they didn't run into each other, it would have probably been an interception for sure. No way Jamar was coming down with that ball. Kind of a bad throw by Joe there, trying to force it to Jamar in double coverage. Did not like to see that pass. Another thing about Cam Taylor Britt here, he had like a weird sliding tackle where he slid into Dalton Kincaid like he was sliding into first base, and he tackled him that way. And Dalton like slammed his shin into Cam's thigh, and they both kind of got hurt on the play, which was not good to see. But there was no flag, and the announcers are kind of questioning why there wasn't like a tripping flag for on Cam there, and I'm kind of surprised there wasn't. Everything just continued as if he tackled him normally. Also, for the rest of this defense, BJ Hill played pretty well. He had a nice sack. Chidobe Awuzie came back. He played pretty well. Logan Wilson out there. Jermaine Pratt. Jermaine Pratt had a crazy play. Like the Bills were trying to do a trick play where they tossed it to Don Kincaid, and he was running and he got flipped into the air and upside down. Jermaine Pratt comes running in and punches the ball out of Don Kincaid's hands. Legit, while he was upside down, Jermaine straight punches it out of his hands right into another Bengals player's hands. It was crazy. It was a straight beauty. If you haven't seen that play, go watch that play. It was in the 4th quarter. That was a late play, but man, it was pretty good. That was a game-sealing play, more than the interception. It would have been a good play for the Bills if he didn't get flipped upside down and all that, but that was crazy. It's cool to see that. I really like Jermaine Pratt on the Bengals, so it's cool to see him make that play. I really like this Bengals defense as a whole, though. Kind of crazy. Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard, neither of them got a sack. That's kind of wild. But nonetheless, this defense is really solid, and I'm sure they're going to be just fine for the rest of the season. I really like this Bengals team, and I'm not surprised that they won. They have really been starting to pick up pace, pick up some steam, and I think they are going to for sure do some damage in the playoffs again this year. And if these two teams meet again, the Bills have got to win in the playoffs. They can't let the Bengals beat them 4-0 in the playoffs. Like, come on. Josh Allen will for sure have to play a lot better. Like, he cannot throw interceptions like the one he did. And then for Josh Allen not to pass 300 passing yards, I think that's kind of wild. I guess he did have an extra 44 rushing yards, but I don't know. I'd like to see him pass for more than 258 yards, which I know that's a lot to ask for because that's a lot of yards, but still, you'd expect Josh Allen to throw a little bit more, especially on 38 attempts. Also, 34 of Josh Allen's yards could be a little bit inflated because to start off the second drive of the game for the Bills, which was actually, I guess, their first drive of the game, Stephon Diggs caught the ball on just like a simple flat route, and then he took it for 34 yards. He was running up. He got grabbed by a few guys, and they kind of just spun him around, but they didn't really bring him down. So he was able to break like 3 tackles right there and still go and like juke another guy and pick up 34 yards on a simple flat route. It was actually pretty cool to see. That's where 34 of Stephon's yards came from for sure. After that 34-yard gain by Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid had a couple of his nice catches right there, which I didn't even realize he had 10 of them. Holy crap. I guess his name was getting called a lot. That makes sense. I thought he had over 100 yards at least. I guess he got close, but he did have a couple of nice plays that set him up in the red zone. It was kind of funny while the Bills were down there in the red zone. Josh Allen was kind of rolling out to his right, and he pump faked it to the guy, like thinking, pump fake it. And the linebacker for the Bengals jumped to try to block the pass, like if he would have thrown it. And then Josh Allen just ran to like beside him. And so he like as he was running, he pointed back at the guy. And since he pointed back, you already know that's a foul. That's a penalty. You can't point. That's too rough for the NFL. That was taunting. You can't taunt. You can't point your way into the end zone. Taunting for sure. What a stupid play that is on taunting. Josh Allen is pretty much just laughing at the guy that he juked out, and you get a flag for that? Like, come on. It's funny. He made the dude jump thinking he's going to throw the ball, then he just runs right next to him. It was hilarious. And then just to get flagged for pointing and laughing? Like, come on. Another thing after that play, the Bengals coach was just absolutely astonished. Like the broadcast like zoomed straight into his face, and he just looked befuddled. He was dumbfounded, straight flabbergasted, in shock. It was so funny. Like if y'all haven't seen it, you have to look that up too. That was so funny to see. He did not like that play, and he was probably questioning why the linebacker jumped. Oh man, he was questioning everything. Why did he become a head coach? Everything. Bro, though that taunting penalty was stupid, but it was a nice run by Josh Allen. Good touchdown. Josh Allen really is the Bills' run game, I guess, huh? Because James Cook he only had 20 yards. That's kind of crazy. When Josh Allen's your leading rusher, they need a run game. They definitely need a run game. I know Josh Allen is the run game, but they got to get somebody in there. I really like Latavius Murray. They only gave him 2 carries. James Cook, they only gave him 6 carries. I feel like give him at least 10, 15, something. Kind of wild to always see Josh Allen as the leading rusher. I mean, he's really good at it, don't get me wrong. But man, get this dude some help in the run game. They also might actually need a bit more help in the pass game as well. Like Stephon Diggs is really good. Dalton Kincaid, he's really developing well. Khalil Shakir had a nice game, 457. He had a couple of nice plays. He got his name called. But then like Gabe Davis not getting a catch. He was targeted for sure. He could have had a penalty called against him, but it was a no call. I don't know. I don't know if it was a penalty on him. I probably wouldn't have called it, but I don't know. He didn't get a catch all game though. That's kind of crazy. I know he had at least 1 target. The Bills just seem to be lacking in the receiving and running game. Like, man, I didn't realize it was this bad on paper. I'm glad Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid look really good, because they're going to need them to keep showing out for the stretch. And then in the playoffs, I'm kind of scared for the Bills in the playoffs, man. Oh, man, they're going to have to do something to get by the Bengals. I don't know, like, they're going to have to definitely get by the Bengals, and then the Chiefs, and then just all these other teams. Like, they need another receiver for sure out there, or at least these guys to continue to step up. I'm just a tad bit disappointed One thing I'm not really as disappointed in is the defense. Like Dane Jackson, he played really well. Like Dane stopped Tyler Boyd from catching the Bengals' third touchdown, which was a nice pass to Tyler Boyd, but Dane Jackson just knocked that out. And he just had pretty good coverage all night. He kept getting his name called. Dane Jackson was just playing really well. Cool to see. You know what? Now that I think of it, I was kind of disappointed in this defense. Like, I really liked Dane Jackson. He did good, but Rasul Douglas, he didn't seem to be a huge game changer for them like I thought he would. Ed Oliver not getting a sack. Shaq Lawson not getting a sack. Like, Von Miller's not even on here. Like, where was Von Miller? Like, as a Broncos fan, don't get me wrong, I love Von Miller because, like, he's a legend. Pretty much won Super Bowl 50 for us and all that. But man, where is he? I wish I would have loved to see Von Miller get a sack. He was close. I saw him get close, but no cigar. Leonard Floyd and Jordan Phillips both got half a sack. That's cool to see. I like Leonard Floyd a lot. But man, I really wish I would have saw Von Miller out there getting a sack or two. Linval Joseph had a funny play where he like hopped over the lineman and like hit Joe Burrow. He was not gonna let him do a tush push. It was really funny. I think it got flagged though. Very unfortunate. Another flag ruining a funny play. But Linval Joseph, they're all talking about how he was sitting at home on the couch, talking about how he knew the exact way to stop the tush push. And man, he would have stopped it. That would have been a great stop. It was really funny to see him hop over the line like that. The Bills seem to need a lot of their bigger name guys to step up. Like stat wise, you wouldn't even tell a lot of the guys were even out there. I know Bills are a bit injured as well, with guys like Tre'Davious White out, Matt Milano's out, Damian Harris is out, Dawson Knox is out. So that's like two really good guys on your defense. And then you got two pretty good playmakers on the offense. And then you can't forget Daquan Jones is out as well. Like, man, that's a lot of players out, like playmakers for your team. So I guess you got to give the Bills a bit of a pass, but I still stand by what I say about these other guys having to step up while these other guys are hurt. Like Dalton Kincaid sure did with Dawson Knox going down. He sure did step up, but not much other people did. Kind of sad. I'm still rooting for the Bills though for sure. Both these teams. I'm rooting for both these teams all the way. If either of these teams could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, I am fine with that. Let's go Bills, let's go Bengals, beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Last thing I want to go over here though real quick is the stats between the teams. They're actually pretty close. The total yards goes to the Bengals. They had about 80 yards more, but that's not too much. I guess it's a decent amount, but most of that came through passing, of course, as you can see. Because neither team really had a great run game. Not over 100 yards rushing for either team. Kind of wild. I guess neither team really is a huge run game when you got these receivers. But still, I really would like to see both teams use their run game just a little more. At least get 100 yards rushing. Come on. Or at least over 70 or 80. Bengals had 67 plays to the Bills' 55, which resulted in 36 minutes of possession for the Bengals and 23 for the Bills. That's actually kind of wild. The Bengals had the ball for a while. They had long drives. And the Bills were just shooting themselves in the foot. That interception and fumble both really cost them the game. I guess everything else, of course, but man, those are bad. Other than that, everything else is kind of the same across the board. Penalties, sacks, first downs gain, third down efficiency, all relatively the same. They are both really good teams, though. I'm always looking forward to seeing these two play each other. I don't care if sometimes it's not hype. I always feel like it's going to be a great game because these are two great teams. And both teams just got a lot of great players that are fun to watch. But anyway, I'm going to call it there. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Thank you for clicking on the video. If y'all made it this far, I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for more videos, shorts, live streams. I'm going to be doing all of it, all that football content. Stay tuned for all of it. Thank you very much for watching, and peace out. The Broncos finally beat the Chiefs. Let's go!